So Donald Trump has started a new routine where he calls into Fox and Friends every Monday morning. Fox and Friends, of course, is this Fox propaganda morning show. The format is two male hosts and a female host, and it's kind of like a mix of completely harebrained, depraved propaganda with the optics of daytime television. And the idea of Trump calling in every Monday is that it's ostensibly good for everybody. Fox and Friends hosts get their FaceTime with the president. Trump gets a softball interview, and everybody is better for it, other than the country and the world. But sadly, it did not go super well yesterday. We're going to look at a few clips and check out the looks on the faces of the hosts of Fox and Friends when Trump goes into these bizarre screeds and unconscionable diatribes. The looks on the faces of the hosts are of people sick to their stomachs. And it actually reminded me, watching these clips, of remember when former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie dropped out of the Republican primary in 2016 and then endorsed Trump, and like the next day showed up and stood behind Trump during one of these stump speeches. And Chris Christie just looked like he had eaten a bad oyster. He looked sick. Same idea here with the Fox host. So let's get right into it. Trump was asked about, of course, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and what is Trump's rationale for trying to push through her replacement before Election Day. And Trump's answer was, well, Democrats would do it if given the chance. Trump also, you will notice, has a terrible phone connection, might even be on speakerphone, just everything going wrong.
Don't forget, we were put in this position by voters, and we have a lot of time. It's not like we have 2 days. We have a lot of time as this goes. Whether it's before or after, I think it should go. We have a lot of time before. I think it should go before. But whether it's before or after, after we have a lot of time, but I think we should do it before. But we
so you might do it in the
Democrats were in the same position. There is zero chance that they wouldn't do it. Just so you understand.
So you're putting it on the
pack the courts.
So if the shoe were on the other foot, if there was a Democratic president and a Democrat Senate, you think they would definitely fill the seat before?
Oh, zero chance that they wouldn't. They would do it. They wouldn't even talk about it.
Fox and Friends host Ainsley Earhardt there trying to help Trump out. Now, this is a terrible argument. Trump has run the country and campaigned for years on elect me because I won't do what Democrats do. Elect me because I won't do what Democrats would do if given the chance. And now Trump says, well, the reason I'm going to do this is Democrats would do it. I thought the point was you don't behave like Democrats. You say Democrats do the wrong thing. And now you're justifying your actions by saying, well, it's what Democrats would do. Very backwards logic. But unfortunately for the Fox crowd, they eat it up like it's being ladle fed to them. Maybe the most disgusting moment of the interview, Donald Trump sort of laughed off Ruth Bader Ginsburg's dying wish that she not be replaced until a new president has been inaugurated. Donald Trump, without any evidence whatsoever, this is sick, says, I don't know if that's true. Adam Schiff might have made that up out of thin air. Nancy Pelosi might have made that up out of thin air. Take a look at this.
Charlie was on our show earlier, and he said we have an obligation to our voters to vote the way they want us to vote. That's why they put us in office. So he's going to push to go ahead and fill this seat either before the election or in the lame duck session. Then you have Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who told her granddaughter on her deathbed, allegedly, that her dying wish was to have the next president choose her successor. How do you think all this plays out?
Well, I don't know that she said that, or was that written out by Adam Schiff and Schumer and Pelosi? I would be more inclined to the second. Okay, that came out of the wind. It sounds so beautiful. But that sounds like a Schumer deal, or maybe a Pelosi or Shifty Schiff. So that came out of the wind. Let's see. Maybe she did, or maybe she didn't. Look, the bottom line is we won the election.
Of course, no doubt whatsoever. There's no reason to think that the official story is false. If it were a made-up story, it certainly wouldn't be Trump who could tell us, oh, it was Adam Schiff who came up with the story. Imagine the absurdity of this claim. Ruth Bader Ginsburg didn't really say what she said on her deathbed. A random congressman from California, Adam Schiff, made it up. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And again, you look at the online pro-Trump enclaves, they actually say, yeah, Trump might be onto something here. Sounds fake. Doesn't sound real. With 200,000 now dead from coronavirus, and we're going to talk more about this, actually 204,000, Donald Trump says during this bizarre interview, we've turned the corner on the pandemic, and Trump grades his coronavirus response an A+. This was as they were talking, the stock market futures down 700 points because of the resurgence of the virus that's expected. Trump saying we get an A+. Take a look.
You're going to get on Air Force One. You're flying out to Ohio today. You're going to address the fight for the American worker. Ever since the pandemic started and the economy cratered, the Federal Reserve, looking forward, they were a little pessimistic. But a couple of days ago, the Federal Reserve actually was quite optimistic. And in fact, they talked about how right now we're in a situation where we have 3 million more jobs than they thought we would at this stage of the game.
That's right.
And $600 billion more economic activity over and above what they expected just 3 months ago. So while we are still suffering from the pandemic, there is some light at the end of the tunnel.
So we're rounding the corner. With or without a vaccine. They hate it when I say that, but that's the way it is. We're rounding the corner on the pandemic, and we've done a phenomenal job, not just a good job, a phenomenal job, other than public relations, but that's because I have fake news. I can't, you can't convince them of anything. They're fake. But we have done, on public relations, I give myself a D. On the job itself, we take an A+.
A+, Trump says, on the virus. Now, reminders, let's come back to earth. Cases per capita, the U.S. is 12th highest in the world. If you take out tiny territories, the U.S. is 8th highest in the world in cases per capita. Deaths per capita, 10th highest in the world is the United States. 8th highest in the world if you exclude tiny territories. Trump says, I get an A+. Trump admits later in this interview that he is playing politics in considering who to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg with, looking at Michigan, looking at Florida, admitting it.
Day, so maybe she gets the nod. Is politics going to be part of it?
I try not to say so. I think probably automatically it is. Even if you're not wanting to do that, it becomes a little automatic. A great one from Michigan. You talked that. As you know, Indiana represented very well. We have from all over the country. I think less so than the person themselves. If you look at...
And then Trump jokes, because everything is a joke, everything is a game, everything is a popularity contest. Trump jokes about putting Fox and Friends host Ainsley Earhardt on the Supreme Court after saying that, Ruth Bader Ginsburg did support me in her decision once. Everything with Trump is what have you done for him?
She was, a legendary legal figure. I'm sure you have some things you'd like to say about how this woman had given decades of her life to public service.
Well, she was a legend, and she represented something different than you or I or somebody else may really agree with or like, frankly. But she was a legend. She represented a certain philosophy, policy, certain groups of laws. She represented them very well and highly respected. She actually voted for me in a very important case, and I was shocked, if you want to know the truth, because we lost a couple of conservative votes, and she actually made it possible to get this approved, which was rather amazing, to be honest with you. I don't want to hurt her reputation at all, but she did vote for me in a case that was a very important case. So that was nice. But no, she was a legendary figure.
Well, I know you said you're going to nominate a woman. That's very important to women who are voting in November for women's rights. You said
How about you, Ainsley? I could nominate you. You don't have to be.
Did not go to law school.
You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a judge. I could nominate you.
Do you want to make some news right now?
Funny guy, right? But again, it's not a joke that with Trump, it's always about what did the person do for me? What can I expect them to do for me? What do they think about me? Do they like me? Have they helped me? That's what matters to Trump. And again, I don't know if these Fox and Friends interviews do any good, do any harm, but they are stunning from the standpoint of basic human decency. It didn't get much better later last night at one of Donald Trump's 2 rallies in Ohio. Let's talk about that briefly next. Privacy.com is one of our sponsors, and they're giving you $5 just for using their free service at privacy.com/Pakman. Privacy is a service I've been using for a while now. I love it. It saves me a bunch of headaches. It's completely free, and it's very quick to set up. And here's how it works. When you pay for something online or over the phone, instead of exposing your real credit card number, Privacy lets you generate virtual card numbers. The payments are withdrawn from your checking account, but your real card number stays completely private, and you do it all with one click. You can autofill the card number in your web browser, on the phone. You can create 12 virtual cards a month. You can set spending limits, freeze them, delete them whenever you want. I especially love it for free trials where you need to give a credit card number, because I can destroy the virtual card number as soon as I give it to the company, and I know I won't be charged in the future. If you're ordering food over the phone, why do I need to give a restaurant my real card number if I don't have to? Companies don't have to know who you are. Your real credit card number is protected from the data breaches that happen, unfortunately, more often than we would like, and it's completely free. They do have a paid version with different tiers where you can create more virtual credit card numbers per month, cashback rewards, extra security features. But go ahead and sign up for the free service. It's a no-brainer. Companies can't charge you unexpectedly. You're protected from identity theft. It costs you nothing. And Privacy is giving you $5 to spend just for signing up when you go to privacy.com/Pakman.